I didn't realize that I've started. Hey everyone, I'm nervous about going live on YouTube, but I hope you're all okay. And I just wanted to share my story about my spiritual awakening and hopefully give you all some tips. And yeah, maybe some of you will get in the chat and we can have a little back and forth and you can ask me questions along the way. So yeah, I've taken some notes on my phones just so that I don't ramble on. Um, and yeah, I'm just gonna get on with it really. So, uh, my life growing up is pretty normal. To be fair, me, my parents, and my younger sister, and yeah, I can't really complain about my upbringing. In terms of religious stuff, my family weren't that religious, um, but my dad started going to church when we were about, well, when I was about, I want to say 7 or 8 years old. Um, and that's just a decision that he made. And my mum was never particularly religious. I wouldn't call her an atheist or anything like that, but she definitely wasn't interested in the religious side of things at all. But my dad used to go to church every Sunday, and me and my sister had to go along with him. And it was a bit, it always just felt a little bit strange to me because, all of a sudden we had to go to church every Sunday, and it's not something that happened when we were super young. So, yeah. And I was always a curious child. And I just remember sitting there and listening to the speakers talk and stuff like that. And I had a lot of questions, even as a really young child. So I remember one day, me and my dad were waiting for my sister. I must have been about 9 or 10 years old, something like that. And we were having a philosophical debate, even at that age. I had a lot of questions, and in his particular uh, um, branch of Christianity that he believed in, and when I was listening to them at church, one of the um, well, two of the main things that they pushed a lot was that I can't remember what it says in the Bible, but it says the wages of sin is death. So they always used to talk about how it doesn't matter what sort of life you've lived, as long as you've died, God has forgiven you, because that's what it says in the Bible. And they also believed heavily in Armageddon, in the rapture. So they believed that Jesus was coming back at any minute, and he was coming to save Christians. Um, that's just what that branch, sorry, of Christianity believed. I won't say which one it is, but I'll let you guess. If you know, let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this later. And yeah, that's what their sermons were about most of the time. I would say 9 times out of 10. So I remember sitting down with my dad and asking him, okay, so being about 9 or 10 years old, I remember in school we were learning about World War II, and Hitler was pretty much the worst person I knew at that age. So I said to my dad, okay, so if this is right by your guys' philosophy, someone like Hitler would have been forgiven by God. because he's already passed on. But if Jesus were to come back tomorrow, like you guys keep saying that he will, then my best friend, who happens to be a Muslim person, she won't be allowed into this heaven. She won't survive Armageddon, and she won't be allowed into paradise, even though she's done nothing wrong except, uh, just be born into a different culture. So, how does that work? How could someone like Hitler be forgiven for all of the evil that he's done, but someone innocent like my friend, why wouldn't she be forgiven? What? That doesn't make sense. And I remember it really stumped my dad, and he didn't really have anything to say after that. And I didn't realize it at the time, but not long after, he sat me and my sister down and said that we don't have to come to church anymore if we don't want to. So, yeah, that was the end of that. But I always felt God's presence. Always, even at that young age. I remember some of my earliest memories. I always felt God with me, but I just really did not um, resonate with what the religions were telling me. And it's not just that particular church that I disagreed with. I looked into many different religions, and I would always find myself agreeing with some things, but disagreeing with uh, disagreeing with it as a whole. So yeah, that was my earliest memories of spirituality, and I was just always questioning the church and always challenging things. Um, One thing I did uh, pick up on was the how much religion impacted society, if that makes sense. So obviously how sort of like religious beliefs impact the power dynamics in the family. That was a big one. My parents, as great as they were very authoritarian, and I think that's just something that uh, um, is part of how our community raises the Black community, how they raise children. That's part of it, but part of it comes from the church. Um, I could also see that same sort of power dynamic in schools, in the institutions. There's always like the head teacher, and then the normal teachers, and us children, students at the bottom. And yeah, and even in relationships, and like I said, in the family, I was very aware of no matter what area of life I looked at, work as well, there was always this particular power dynamic. Um, but obviously, being young at the time, being a young kid and a teenager, I didn't have the words to sort of or the knowledge to sort of articulate what I was seeing. And also, not many young kids are interested in you know power dynamics within society at that age. They're more interested in drinking and partying and hooking up and all of that stuff. So yeah, that's what I did. I sort of pushed all of my spiritual curiosities and stuff like that. I pushed it down because I knew very quickly that it wasn't something that many people were interested in, and I was always the weirdo of the group. As much as I tried to fit in and do what everyone else was doing, I think people can always sense when someone's a little bit different. But going through school and going through university, college, if you're in America, I partied a lot. So I know every student goes through that phase, but mine was very intense. I'm talking like drinking every single day, going out every single day. Um, I never did any. I don't know how to say it on YouTube without getting banned. I never did any hard whether it's paraphernalia, but I was definitely sort of around that stuff at times. And yeah, I was not a happy teenager at all. The alcohol, especially, there's a big drinking culture in the UK. Alcohol it made me very depressed. Looking back on it, really struggled. I remember in the club bathroom, everyone just thought that was normal. A lot of people were doing that at the time. I guess people who've had one too many, but for me, it wasn't just a drunken night out. I was very broken, very broken inside, and I didn't have. I couldn't articulate why. I just felt this emptiness growing up, especially in my late teens and early 20s, that I was trying to drown out with drinking and partying and being around the wrong people and having uh, uh, bad relationships and just all of that stuff. So it was not a good time. And when I graduated from university, I couldn't get a job in. I went to art school, and I couldn't get a job in my field. I realized quite quickly that when I was in university, that it wasn't what I wanted to do. So a lot of art schools kids say this. They You go to school with the intention of being creative and wanting to express yourself, but by the time you come out of it on the other side, it was very much. It wasn't arts. I wouldn't call it art school. I would call it design school. So they were sort of molding us to be like little graphic designers that would just, you had to stick to the brief, and anything that you did outside of that was considered a fail. So I passed. I got a good pass in university when I went the first time, but I hated every second of it. And I remember once I taught a workshop for kids on how to edit videos and do little animations, and I did that for a couple of months, and I really loved it. So I thought, okay, well, if I can't get a job doing something creative, let me get a job teaching. That's my second love, knowledge and sharing knowledge. So I worked in the school for a couple of years. That was a different trauma. If anyone is from the UK and knows anything about the UK education system and how it's just falling apart, then you'll understand where I'm coming from. But I worked in a school for a good couple of years, still not paying any attention to my spiritual side or anything like that. And yeah, I just decided to become a teacher because that's just what you do after working in a school for a couple of years. I did love teaching, and I do love the kids, but after getting into the education system and seeing it from the other side, number one, it's extremely corrupt. It's extremely I don't want to say too much on YouTube, but in my opinion, I don't think that it has uh, the education as a system as a whole. I don't think it has the kids' best interests at heart. I believe that they're just trying to make little, robot office workers and programmers now, as I believe AI is sort of going to take over the computer generated world. And worked at a lot of schools. I taught for quite a while, and 9 times out of 10, the people there were just completely miserable, completely toxic, and the bosses that I had, two head teachers I had in particular, were very, very toxic, um, just bullies basically. Um, so yeah, that was the environment I was in for a long time, up until 2020, which was my breaking point. And yeah, I know a lot of people say that um, they had their spiritual awakening in 2020, and that thing that happened at 2020. But yeah, that was my experience as well. When lockdown came, and it just forced me to um, to acknowledge how miserable I was. And like I said before, when I was younger, I had a very strong connection to God, and I had lost that in my my teen years and in my early 20s and whatnot. And that came back really, really strong in my when COVID happened. Um, and at first, it was something that I tried to ignore. My curiosity for it came back, and because there was nothing else to do in lockdown, I read a lot more. I read the Bible. I read loads of different religious texts again, loads of different spiritual books, and just enhanced my knowledge that way. Followed loads of people that spoke about the things that I was interested in, and yeah, I had a real. But yeah, like I said, I tried to go back to normal. I tried to brush it off. I thought maybe it's a trend. Everyone's sort of like hopping on the spiritual train in 2020. All that stuff was becoming really popular. So I just tried to ignore it. I tried to go back to my normal job. But my tolerance, just me listening to my intuition finally, after all those years, my tolerance level for what I could handle at work went way down. So when my boss came back with all of the emails and all of the ridiculous demands that she was making, I just quit. I just quit my job. I had no backup plan. I didn't have a massive amount of money saved. I had no job to go to, but yeah, call it God, call it intuition, whatever. But I just quit. I'll answer all questions at the end. But yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, I just listened to God, and I quit my job at the time, and it was rough for a good couple of months. It didn't take me that long to find a new job, but it doesn't take a long time in London to rack up a lot of debt if you're if you're not making money. So yeah, I did supply teaching or temp teaching for a little while, but the money for that was horrible. Um, I was basically not making anything, and but luckily, not long after I got the job that I do now, and I just sort of fell into it. I I just walked into the place and asked if they had any jobs going, and the guy at the front desk, he said, "Yep, we do. We've got this position. Let me know your details." And I got an email from a lady couple of days later. We had a conversation over Zoom, and really quickly she told me that I've got I've got the job. So um, yeah, that was one of the first sort of synchronicities, I guess, that happened post 2020, where I started to realize, okay, I'm I'm in the wrong place. I'm doing the wrong thing. Let me start listening to myself, and let's just see what happens. So the next thing that happened that was really tough was the breakdown of my relationships, friendships, and romantics, pretty much at the same time. 2021 was just like nothing that I had ever felt before. Just really tough breakup situation that I went through. A friendship breakup, let's say. Then my relationship broke down in 2022. By that point, I was just sort of all over the place because it's like I had to leave my job. I was worrying about money. Where is it going to come from? Worrying about rent. Got a new job, but then my partner left, and it was just all over the place. Um, but something in me just told me, just let those people go. Maybe 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 there's a reason why all of this is happening, and again, I just decided to trust my intuition, and yeah, allowing uh, all of the new energy, I guess. Um, so yeah, my friendships were very strained after that. Just I guess a bit like how I couldn't stand my boss anymore. There were certain things that my friends were doing that just didn't that I couldn't put up with. Um, hey everyone in the chat. Certain things that were happening in my relationship that I just couldn't put up with. And deep down, I knew that these people were holding me back. Um, I feel like I sort of made friends with these people, and I got with these people when I wasn't happy and when I wasn't in a good place in my life. And as I um, as I started to move, and as I started to be more creative, by the way, at the same time, as I was having this spiritual awakening, I started painting more and being artistic and posting it on the internet, and I was getting quite a following because of it. um, I started to see how my friends were reacting, and it wasn't good. let's just let's just say that they weren't encouraging, they weren't supportive, and neither was my partner at the time. So um, I just said, "Fuck it," just let them go. And I just carried on focusing on myself and what I wanted to do. And uh, obviously, I was very upset at this time and very heartbroken. But it definitely gave me the push to put my work out there and to start this channel. Um, the These videos, I didn't expect anyone to sort of connect with any of these videos that I was making. I just put them out there as a way to express my anger and express my emotions in a way that wasn't drinking or doing other destructive things like I was used to. So that's how this channel started. And if you look at it, at 2022, I've been in here just over a year. Um, so yeah, that's just a really quick summary of my life, and trying not to ramble on too much. Um, and that's how I got to this point. And I'm sort of skipping over a lot of things, but um, just know that I have been through it, and it's not been easy to get to this point. It's also not easy talking about the sort of things that I talk about, because it's very taboo, I guess. It's not the typical religious spiel that we're used to receiving. So it has been hard, but it's absolutely been worth it. The messages I get and the emails I get from you guys and the support, um, it does not go unnoticed. And the reason I'm telling you all of this is because I just want to let you guys know how much I appreciate it, and how much it helps me and encourages me when I'm going through all of these all of these stresses and struggles that have been put my way, I guess. And yeah, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change a thing. Let's go back to my notes to see if I've missed out anything. Um, yeah. So the importance of self-expression. That's what I wanted to talk about. So the thing that I've learned through all of this, and the way that I've coped, is just, I want to encourage anyone that's watching this to find, if you're going through a spiritual awakening and you're finding it hard, or you're losing people, or you're going through a breakup, or you've lost your job, anything like that. Um, the most important thing to do is to find a way to get those emotions out, because you'll be surprised how much it helps, and how much knowledge you've got inside of you. So you don't have to make a public YouTube or public TikTok or anything like that if you want to keep it private. Journal. People like writing, people like blogging, people there's loads of things that you can do anonymously. Draw, paint, whatever it is, but make sure you express yourself, and you get your opinions out there somehow. Also, don't be afraid to let people go. If they don't, it's one thing not agreeing with you, or if they don't understand your beliefs, or the direction that you're you're going in. But if you find yourself around people who are unsupportive, or who are bringing you down, or toxic or negative in any way, don't be afraid to let them go, and or put up boundaries. Maybe if you're still living at home, if you're younger, or it's your spouse or something like that. um it's pretty generic information, but um it really does make all the difference. So yeah, those are my top three tips. So don't be afraid to uh, express yourself, set your boundaries, and do not bend, do not let anyone sort of control you in any way. And um, yeah, don't be afraid to walk alone, and be on your own for a little while until you find your people. So yeah, let me go to the questions. Hi from San Jose, California. I get a lot of Americans on this channel, which is it's so funny. So it's always nice to see you guys. I watched your videos. I wonder, what is your opinion on God? Oh, um, my opinion on God is, how do I say it? I believe that God is um, God is a spirit, and it's everywhere, and it's a part of all of us, and we're a part of it. I I disagree when religions teach that God is something separate from us, if that makes sense. I feel like we're all deeply connected to God, to the point where we are we are God, basically. But we're our spirits are trapped in this body, and we're in this world that sort of distracts us, and wants to put as much distance as it can between us and God. But God is on the inside, and I really think religions, and sometimes even these new age spiritual beliefs, they overcomplicate it. God is your intuition, basically. What happened during your spiritual awakening? I've had a dark night, but no awakening. If you had a dark night, just keep going, keep going. The dark night of the soul is the part one, sort of thing. Um, then for me, like I said, I tried to go back to normal life, go back to my normal job. Try not to read too much into all of these spiritual books. I just tried to ignore everything, basically, and act like um, act like my life hadn't been irreversibly changed forever. But then that backfired me, and basically what happened was things kept getting taken away from me. All of the people and all of the distractions that I had around me kept getting removed, until I was forced to acknowledge God, and my spiritual side, and strengthen my connection with God. And as soon as I did that, and as soon as I started expressing myself, and making these videos, and putting myself out there, my life turned around. But yeah, I would say, try not to ignore your intuition. Try not to turn away from all of this spiritual stuff, and just lean into it, and don't be don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of stepping out from the crowd. How do you know we're in a soul trap? It feels like the truth, but how can you know for sure? We don't know anything for sure. I can't prove anything to you. I can only tell you what I believe. I do think that academia has ruined society to some degree. To the when I make a video, people are expecting me to sort of like list all of my sources and all of my references like I'm writing some sort of essay, and I'm just making a video. Some things you just know, if you if you feel like it's the truth, then maybe look into it a little bit more. Look into other people who have said the same things. Look at people who disagree with reincarnation and things like that, maybe the more traditional side of things, and then see how you feel. But what I will say is that all of these mythologies, all of these theories like the soul trap and whatnot, the reason why they feel so real, or the reason why a lot of people connect to them, is because they play out every single day in our everyday lives, in our relationships with each other. So, for example, the soul trap is it's a metaphor for being gaslit. So how many times have you been gaslit into doing something that deep down you don't want to do, but you haven't listened to yourself? You've listened to someone else, maybe some authority figure, parents, whatever, and you've gone along with what they want to say. They want you to do, and you've ended up miserable. That's what the reincarnation trap looks like in our everyday lives. So all of these mythologies, they're connected to psychology as well. If you sort of unpick the archetypes, the Gnostic ones that everyone loves, the the demiurge, the chief ruler is anyone who is abusive. So when I talk about these hierarchies in work and in relationships or whatever, you might have a toxic boss, so the demiurge. Then a toxic boss always has a load of little minions that enable their toxicity, so archons. And then you have the sort of NPC people in the organization who don't question anything. So that's NPCs, or the masses. And then you have the hero, or the main character, which is you usually. But in the Gnostic stories, it was Adam or Eve or John the Baptist or whoever. So yeah, it is my belief, my theory, that all of these scenarios, they happen somewhere else first, and they happen in this reality, but it's highly symbolic. So it might be in work or wherever else you can get a toxic relationship, which is in most places. So to me, that's how I know it's true, because it's something that 99% of people have been through at some point. So, love her. You speak a lot of wisdoms and revelations. Thank you for helping the spark in me. Thank you so much, Louise. I really appreciate it. I get nervous going on live because I usually write scripts, so I don't go off topic. So I'm glad you enjoy it, and it's going to be something that I do a little bit more often. And let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk about, or maybe we can just do a general Q&A, because I love talking to you guys as well. On the archons, spirits too. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I believe everything exists in the spirit realm, and I feel like those spirits come down and they possess certain people who are sort of on awake, is that a word, who are not conscious of this sort of stuff, and who are sort of too invested in the matrix without having any consideration of um, you know spirits and things on the other side and how that affects us. I feel like many people are sort of susceptible to these things. So psychologists call it narcissism and MPD and all of this stuff. I just think it's demon possession, personally. Love the work. Keep going. The world needs to hear it. Thank you so much, Himway. Thank you for sticking with me and for subscribing. And I've got 3 videos at the moment in the editing suite, so they'll be coming out really soon. But yeah, you guys have definitely inspired me to keep going, and I won't ever stop. I love making videos. Like I said before, I went to art school, and it was the animation side of it was my favorite side. It's what I specialized in, so I've always loved making videos and whatnot. So at least it's coming in useful, that very expensive art degree. So is it more of a metaphor? I think it's both. I think it's both a metaphor, and I think they are events that really happened in the spirit world. I think that everything is connected, and I think that we sense that these things have happened before, and we try and retell them through these Gnostic stories and the biblical stories as well. If we break them down, they're all the same archetypes, and it's almost like something is trying to figure out the nature of the universe and the nature of reality through both of these stories that are written down in religion and in myth. And I also feel like there is something that is sort of trying to work it out through us, almost like we're little avatars that are being controlled by something higher up. That's what I am. It's one of the visions that I saw in my spiritual awakening. That the real me is somewhere else, and that being is projecting itself down into this body, and that's why I'm going through all of these different experiences. But that's a little bit. I know that's a little bit far-fetched for some people. Some people are not into all of that new agey, super new agey stuff. What's your take on Yahweh, Asherah, Baal, and Chemosh? Do you know what? I know that I've not heard of the last one, Chemosh or Baal. Is that the devil? Yahweh and Asherah. Asherah was God's wife that was taken out of the Bible, and Yahweh is the original name for God. Do you know what? I don't I'm I don't know every single myth or every single spiritual belief that there has ever been, but I do know that the same archetypes are used in every single religion, um, every single ancient belief system, but they are just given different names. So some people believe that Yahweh is good, some people don't, but in any story there is God, who is the highest ultimate good, and then there is some sort of a feminine aspect of God, which most of the time has been written out of history. And then there's a, a Messiah, some sort of a savior figure. Then there is a devil. Then there are angels, and then there is sort of the the general population, and every spiritual belief teaches you to try to be like the Christ, or like a Messiah. Um, but I personally believe that um, I I don't think that we should rely on an external savior to come back and fix the world's problems. Uh, I feel like no one can fix the world's problems. They're too that This world is almost designed to be chaotic. I feel like the only thing you can do is fix yourself. And I don't know whether it's just that because of the content I consume. Maybe it's like an echo chamber, but um, since I've started to work on myself and whatnot, I see a lot more people take their spirituality more serious, and a lot of people are standing up to in the UK. We're starting to question the governments, and I know you guys are in the US as well. All of their corrupt, Epstein people and P Diddy, and all of this stuff is starting to come to the surface. But years ago, when I was more ignorant and I wasn't paying attention to all of that stuff, it's almost as if the world wasn't paying attention to it either. So I do think that there is a sort of power that we have, and we're all connected. Our minds are all connected, and it's like when one person thinks something, it sends off a spark to someone else, and then someone else thinks it, and then someone else says it, and then you think, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only person who believed it, and then it's like a domino effect. Um, so yeah, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but that's my opinion on it. How can we all be main characters because there are so many of us? Because there's only one of us. I, I don't know how to put it. I think the Gnostics they made it. They put it the best. God, or the monad. Monad means one, and then uh, the monad split, and he decided to make his feminine half, and then they had children, and they had angels, and one of those angels had a bad angel. It was just a bad egg, and that bad egg produced this world. But that same spirit, that same spirit that's inside God is in it was in the feminine side of God, the Barbello. It's in the angels. It's in Christ. It's in the demons and in the devil, and it's in us. But it's just uh, different expressions of God. So we're all split apart, but eventually we'll all come back together. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I feel like I'm just rambling on. So no, let me know. Let me know if you've got any more questions. Are we good spirits and they bad spirits? I think. Do you know what I asked this question in when I was lucid dreaming the other day. I asked a question to spirit. I said, is humanity good or is it bad? And uh, God said to me, both. It's the ego never wants to believe that it can be evil. We always want to project evil out elsewhere. So we project it out into Hollywood. We say, Hollywood is demonic, which it is. And, we say the government or whatever. And it's always the other person that's the narcissist. It's never us. But the truth is um, we are all good and we are all evil at the same time. Even if you identify as an empath, when you really sort of self-reflect, the empath is manipulating the narcissist just as much as the narcissist is manipulating the empath, but the narcissist is usually more overt and they're usually more obvious with what they're doing, but the empath is more it's more of a subconscious thing, so they're being manipulative but they're unaware of it. So yeah, at the deepest level, apart from obviously the crimes against humanity that these world leaders are doing with these wars and um murder and all of those terrible things, we all have the capacity for both good and evil. There's people that we've um, treated really well, and then I'm sure that there's also people in our lives that we've not treated with as much respect as they deserve, but we don't focus on that, or we focus on the people that have done us wrong rather than um, looking at our own flaws. Uh, have you kept yourself protected since talking about this? Um, yeah, I have. I am. Yeah, I've got. I ask God for protection every day. I ask. I pray to God. I I don't go around shouting from from the rooftops about what I believe, but also I refuse to live in fear just because I've got a different opinion than most people. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. It just means that I'm talking about my own truth, and you can take it or you can leave it. But I'm not intimidated by anyone, and yeah. But I don't bring it up to people just in casual conversation because obviously I know that that's not going to end well. I like to talk about it online, and those people who can hear what I have to say, great. If you don't like what I have to say, then oh well. And if it gets disrespectful, I just or if people get too heated, I will just completely block them and move along with my life. But yeah, I don't live in fear of anyone. Um, how has my life changed? I am a lot more peaceful. I'm a lot more self-reflective. I feel like I'm not just going through the motions of life. I feel like I've got a job that I actually enjoy and that doesn't make me want to scratch my eyeballs out every single day. So um, my mental health has improved dramatically. I've got enough time to actually look after myself and go to the gym and do other stuff apart from work. Um, I My art business, I've got a separate art business that I can also focus on, and it's doing well. I've noticed that things are just coming to me a lot easier. A lot of things fell away, but a lot of things got better. My relationship with my family got better. There are some friends that I've kept around that my relationship has just improved with because I've improved. I've made new friends. Um, and most of all, I just feel at peace. I look after myself a lot more. I would say that is my number one priority. Before, my priorities were always other people. Um, the people pleasing was just out of control, and yeah, it had to stop. Um, and yeah, I would just say I'm more confident in myself as well. So um, definitely, definitely, my life has changed for the better. Why are we projecting ourselves here? I believe it's a scam. Personally, I believe that we were told that this place is like some sort of training ground for the soul, and that we can come here to learn lessons and help other people and all of that stuff. But yeah, I just think this place is a. I guess I have learned. Let's not. I won't. I won't diminish that or whatever the word is. I have learned, but I'm done learning. Personally, I feel like there are a lot better realities out there. I'm not promoting this in any way before anyone says anything in the comments, but I've done when you do psychedelics, it opens your eyes. You basically you realize that you're just we're stuck in this meat suit for however long, 80, 90 years, and we do choose, we gaslit, in my opinion, to keep coming here. And yeah, it's it's time to leave. This is the devil's playground, in my humble opinion. That's why there's so much endless chaos. And yeah, the goal of life is to free the soul from the reincarnation trap. That's the only purpose of being here. Um, and I know that's quite pessimistic, but that's just my that's just my belief based on what I saw. Uh, yeah, yeah, we are all fractals. We are all fractals of one consciousness. We're all the same thing. We're all the same person, the same energy, just expressing itself in very very different ways. Um, I also think that we're here because of boredom almost. Like I speak about this on my videos on Patreon. I feel like this is 100% a simulation. And when you play a simulation, when you play a video game, it's because you're bored, isn't it? So not to oversimplify this life that we live, but just to make it easier, if we stick with the video game metaphor, I think we decided to project ourselves here, going back to the other question before, because we're bored, and we um, we came here to experience something different, and different it is, different it is. But yeah, let me stop before I'm rumbling. I thought spirit was naturally good. Spirit is both good and bad. Um, uh, the yin yang symbol. If you think of it, spirit is everything. Spirit is both good and bad, and it uh, it creates it creates evil to to show itself how good it can be, if that makes sense. So on one level, all of the evil that's happening um, in the world, it's almost like a challenge. It's like, how much can we put up with these corrupt people in charge before we actually do something. We all want to believe that we're good. um, this is not looking at it from like a higher sense. This is from like a more practical level. We all want to believe that we're good, but um, we don't want to. There's a quote that says, everyone wants to be a savior, but no one wants to get up on the cross. Everyone wants to believe they're good, but then when the government are bombing, Gaza, or wherever, we're just sitting there watching it on the news. But when they're tripling our rent or tripling our electric bills, we're just sitting back and taking it. So I feel like it's almost an experiment to see how much are we going to actually put up with before we do take a stand against all of the corruption in the world. But um, the catch is that we're constantly told from birth that someone else or something else, some messiah, is going to come back and do the work for us, and that puts humanity at a massive disadvantage, because I think if we knew how, it's not even about how powerful we are. If in sheer amount of numbers, it's literally the 1%, the 99%. So if we all got some courage collectively, not just one random person here and there on the internet, and we all got together in our communities, and we all actually stood up to these people, then it would be heaven on earth. But the people in charge, they tell us otherwise, and it keeps humanity stagnant. Um, but I do believe that we're getting fed up on a global scale. Mhm. Are we individual spirits forever, or are we all the same thing? Here we are individual spirits. Um, in other systems, I believe that we can be individual spirits, but what makes this system particularly terrible is that um, we're not told that 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 even though we're individual, we're still one. We're still the same. Here it's a very individualistic culture, and you're almost painted as demonic, or whatever, when you suggest that we are one, and we are one with God. Um, this culture insists that we stay separate, and that's why we're so powerless, because God is the only power. um, and the evil people in the world know that, but we don't. So there's a massive power imbalance here. How we were we tricked here if we were spirit? Um, I think there are many ways, but I think the main way we get tricked into coming here is we get told that we can save the world. Um, you know, I assume that we look down at all of the chaos, and in other systems, when we have access to all knowledge, not just partial knowledge, we think, oh, let me go down and I think, the new age, the Dolores Cannon things. I think there is a lot of truth in what she says, in that we come down here with a plan, um, but there's a memory wipe, so that's the catch. And to wake up, we have to go through something traumatic. But the problem is, sometimes that traumatic event is too traumatic, and I think that derails many people, and then they fall into depression and anxiety and all of that stuff. But yeah, I believe that this place is hell. This is how I um, think of it. Hell isn't, below us. There's no fire and brimstone below us. This is hell, and we come here with the intention of um, saving it and helping it, and whatnot. But number one, we get fed a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of conflicting information, and the dominant source of information tells us to not take action, and just to wait for something else to do it. That's problem number one. And problem number two is that we are in a matrix. So what that means is that when when you fix one problem, it's almost like another problem arises. So in the matrix, it's like humanity, like we swing between extremes. So we either go from extremely racist to extremely liberal, and that just it creates a different problem for a different set of people, or you know extremely free, and not free, just what from one extreme to the other. Basically, we find it hard, it's extremely sexually repressed, and men have all the power. I'm trying not to put anything on any one particular group, but one group will have all the power, and then it's a patriarchy, and then all of a sudden it's we basically live in a matriarchy, and that's caused different problems. You see what I'm saying? So in a way, this place can't be saved. Whether it's conservatives in government, or liberals, or whoever, it's always going to be chaos, because it's designed to be that way. It's almost like it's a soap opera, and we're little characters in it. The only way to save this place is to remove yourself from it, and maybe share what you've learned to help others along the way. So yeah, I don't know. I think we came here thinking that it's going to be some sort of like a fun journey, but for me personally, it has not been fun. especially when you sort of you take psychedelics and you can have memories of, or if you lucid dream or anything like that, and you have visions and memories of other systems, you just think, why the hell am I here? But that's just me. I wonder if we were tricked here. Spirit must have known what was gone on here and avoided. Yes, I hope I've answered that question. I do think it's a massive trick. Are the archons consciousness true? Yeah, yeah, they are consciousness. But everything has a choice. Everyone has a choice, and some people just, or some spirits just choose the darkness. Uh, they're usually people who are just very disconnected from God. So if you ever run into people who are highly narcissistic, or even covert narcissists and whatnot, you would notice that there's a significant lack of love in their life, either from parents or wherever. Well, usually from the family, and the our parents are sort of like gods, if you know what I mean. So yeah, there's some spirits that are have no connection to God and no connection to love, and they think that the only way that they can get things is at the expense of other people, and they choose to trample on other people and dominate them, and subjugate whole cultures and whatnot. But they're all part of it. They're all part of it, and for me personally, I just look at them as an example of what not to do, because those individuals and those spirits, they're never happy. They're never happy, and don't ever want to be like that. Yeah, that's basically it. We are all fighting ourselves indefinitely because we are bored. That's that's it. All of the books, all of the religions, all of the material out there. That's You basically just summed it up in one sentence. We are all fighting ourselves indefinitely because we are bored. Because we have woken up, will we get out of here by default? Yeah, yeah. Basically, it's we because we have woken up. We've realised it's our decision. So, yeah, basically, that's pretty much it. You've got it. We've realised that it's our choice to come here, and I do believe that there is, from what I've seen in near-death experiences and whatnot, there is a life review where we go back and relive all the different aspects of our life. And if you feel strongly that you don't want to come back here, then yeah, you realize that you don't have to come back. But I think many people are attached to the earth. Maybe they have kids or whatnot, so they feel connected to come back. But even if you do have kids or parents, they still exist in other realms. So you're really not missing out on anything if you choose not to come back here. Mm. Why can't the archons not just use the power for good? They are infinite. Why try to control when you have access to the same source that we do? I love how chill you are. Thank you. Thank you. Um, because they're demons. I don't know. That's it. They have all of the information. They hoard all of the information and the power and the money and the resources and whatnot. And they're they're just demonic. They have no knowledge. They view love as a weakness. If you think about the scale of consciousness, because you have to be vulnerable to show love and to show compassion and things like that. They view it as a weakness, and it's almost like they get a high off of it, like someone gets a high off of drugs. If you think about a toxic person, a toxic boss, you know that they get a certain high off of treating their employee really badly. It's because they've got their own self-worth issues inside of them, because they're disconnected from love, or they probably had a negative um, experience when they were younger that makes them weary of love. So maybe the archons were abused in off in whatever system that they've come from, and they're weary of love. So who knows? But yeah, thanks for all of these questions, guys. I really appreciate it. Has anyone got any more? No? See if I've missed any. Okay, guys. Well, I've been on for just over an hour. Oh, I was about to. I've seen one more pop up. You're lucky. You're lucky. I'm gonna make this one my last one, because I've been on just over an hour, and I don't want to I don't want to make it too long. But don't worry. I'll do. I'm gonna start doing these more often because they're fun. So, how do the meanings behind things like films and music link with our own mind? Sometimes I feel like it speaks to me, and it makes me feel very matrixy. Yeah, me too. It's because these film producers and whatnot, they've got access to they know all this. Basically, they know all the matrix stuff. Uh, they're aware of all of the different archetypes, and they know that we basically all live. Yes, we're individuals and stuff, but we all basically live the same life. We look very different. We're from different places in the world and stuff. But if I, sit here and speak in my talk about my story, um, there's a high likelihood that you guys have been through something really similar, and that's because at a certain level we are all the same. We're all living the same lives. That's why millions of people can connect to a film or a TV series, is because they can see themselves in it. And I think about the most powerful films, the Truman Shows, The Matrix. What's the other one? Pleasantville. Sometimes in Marvel as well. Marvel, I see it. See this a lot too. They use the same archetypes. So what I spoke about before. So if you take The Matrix, that's the most famous one. We have the what's his name, Morpheus, who is he's like this godlike character. Then Trinity, who is the Holy Mother, the Holy Spirit. You have Neo, who is the Son, so the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. And together they are the one. And the archons are the Agent Smiths. And the hero in the story is Neo, and he wakes up and he battles all these archons, and eventually other people exit the matrix with him, and he defeats them, and but he doesn't leave the matrix. He keeps coming back to the matrix to do something else, and I think that's something that we all feel on a certain level. same with the Truman Show. He's the you have Christoph. He's the demiurge. He's the demon, the devil, and the archons are Christoph's family. Not Christoph. What's his name? Truman's family, and then Truman is the Jesus in that film, and the whole film is about Truman waking up. Then you have the girl, can't remember what her name is, but she's like the Sophia. She's sort of like a Mary Magdalene character, and um, the whole show is about him waking up, and it's very generalized, but it does hit us somewhere on a subconscious level. Even if you're watching a soap opera about people arguing back and forth, the reason why that reminds us of the victim abuser cycle. You know, that's the level of the matrix at the most basic level, and it's something that we all go through. And I noticed that these the shows that I watch, I'm basically just watching my own life with different you know, instead of my mum, my dad, and my sister, you know, it's some Hollywood movie actor, and they're very aware of this, and they know how powerful our attention is, if that makes sense, and it's ironic that our attention generates so much money, and it gives power to these big Hollywood executives and whatnot, and it's no it's no mistake. So that's why you find that a lot of these TV shows and series speak to you. Mhm. No worries. Yeah, yeah. Squid Game. Squid Game is same thing. It's a metaphor for capitalism. That's why it's so that's why it's so popular. It's metaphorical, and it shows how no matter what we do, we pretty much we can't escape capitalism, unless you're part of the 1%. Even if you run your own business or whatever, it's we're still part of the rat race. This is also toxic. All the shows say the same thing. They do. They do. It might be different storyline, but start paying attention. Um start even just start looking for yourself, or looking for you know, friends or family in these different characters that you see on TV shows. But yeah, no worries. I'm glad you enjoyed it, guys. Thank you all for your questions. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm always worried about going on live and getting tongue tied and stuff. Always try and come across as clear as possible, but this is definitely the best way to do it. Sometimes, just for us to talk back and forth and have real conversations and stuff. And yeah, it's something that I'm going to do regularly, and keep an eye on my community tab, and I'll post the times that I'll go live. I don't have a regular schedule, unfortunately, so because my work is all over the place, so I can't go live at the same time every week, but I'll try and make it like a, you know, like a weekday evening or something. I try and do it quite late because I know I've got a lot of Americans following me and stuff. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for the likes. Thank you. I'll see. Oh, well, something, right. Last question. Something that you can use for prayer to be awakened and know who you are. Oh, um, just ask God. Just ask God straight up. Don't overcomplicate it. Say, God, please, can you, you know, lead me to awaken and be more aware spiritually, and allow me to um, be in situations where I can get to know myself better. And I put my trust in you. And even if it's hard, and even if I lose things that are precious to me, I know that in the end, it's all for my best interest. And um, let God do His magic. It's I always say this with manifesting and stuff. It's not up to us to worry about the high, about the how, and whatnot. It's leave that up to God. But just keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for any changes that happen in your life. But yeah, ask God directly for anything you want, and just believe that it's already been done. Don't question it. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Just put your trust in Him, and it's done. Um, yeah, you already know who you are. You just need to go inside. So that's my advice to you. And with that, I'm gonna leave it there, and I'll be back real soon. Thank you so much for the love, and for all the likes and whatnot. I've really enjoyed speaking to you all, and I will see you all real soon. Bye.